Hello everyone and welcome to Everything Star Wars. I'm your host, Rob. This is the first time you're here. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for viewing my channel. Why don't you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell right down there below so I can continue to give you everything that's Star Wars. Today we're going to talk about something that's been going around the fandom. And maybe this article will explain it in detail. I didn't read the whole thing, so we're going to kind of read it together. Or more like I'm going to read it to you and you're just going to see some pictures. Depending on how I want to do this video, I don't know. So anyway, it's called The Last Jedi, The Problem with Rey. Some people call her Mary Sue because she's too perfect. That's a problem a lot of people have. And this article is a little lengthy, but I think it's very interesting. I read a little snippet of it, so I want to share it with you. So let's get into it. The Last Jedi, The Problem with Rey. This is from the Medium app, and it's from a guy who I'm going to butcher his name, Mario Hoang. I hope I said his name right. It's absolutely wasting the character of Rey. Suffice to say, there will be some mild and major spoilers to follow. Rey is a wonderful character. She is charismatic, charming, a great role model. But from a storytelling perspective, she's kind of, bland. And a lot of this is due to a problem with the growth of her powers. The concept has variously been called power crawl, power creep, or power growth. But no matter what it's called, it's the same questions. How powerful is the character at the beginning of their story? How powerful are they at the end? And how quickly do they get there? If you want to see a great explanation of how to do it right, watch the YouTube video called Avatar: The Last Airbender. A character's growth and powers is important because it directly affects the tension in the movie. If characters get too powerful too quickly, the show is entertaining, because there's no dramatic tension, which I would say is probably what's happening here. Drama at its most basic is this. Someone wants something. There's an obstacle in their way, and we want to see them either overcome the obstacle or fail trying. If the character gets too powerful too quickly and simply crushes all the obstacles in their path, the story becomes boring because there is no suspense or surprise. Let's look at an example of good power crawl from the Star Wars universe. Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy. Luke starts the movies with nothing. He's a total amateur and unable to do even the simplest things. But we have an example of what he could become, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan gives us a demonstration of what the end state is for Luke's powers. Mind control, telekinesis, and so on. Throughout The Empire Strikes Back, we see Luke striving and often failing to achieve these capabilities. He's barely able to call the lightsaber to him in the ice cave, and then consistently struggles with the challenges that Yoda sets for him. These struggles and failures build tension and anticipation in the story. Imagine how boring the ice cave scene with the Wampa would have been if Luke had gotten the lightsaber immediately without any build-up or sense of danger. Would you have been as surprised or impressed when Yoda lifts the X-Wing out of the swamp if you hadn't seen Luke fail at first? The failures also serve a large purpose. By showing us Luke's reaction to them, they illuminate Luke's character traits of impatience and glory-seeking, of always looking to the horizon, never on where he is or what he is doing. It all accumulates in him, rushing off to face Vader, falling into Vader's trap, and in doing so, not only failing to save his friends, but also disrupting his training and putting himself at great risk. At the end of The Empire Strikes Back, we see Luke at his lowest point, facing his greatest failure. By the time we see Luke in full-on Jedi badass mode at Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi, we've been through enough growth with him that we appreciate how hard it is, and there's a thrill at him finally coming into his powers. That's a great point, and that's why I love this so far. Now let's look at Rey. She's a junk rat picking up garbage for food. She can ride on a speeder, and she's likely never stepped into anything fancier than a speeder. And yet 30 seconds on board the Millennium Falcon, and suddenly she's out flying TIE fighters. Even if you want to chalk it up to the Force, it's still completely ridiculous. The Force made Luke, an already hotshot pilot, into an even better one. Now it's turning a kid who's never touched a joystick into the best pilot the galaxy's ever seen? Yeah, that was a big question I had in The Force Awakens. And of course, throughout the next 1.5 movies, she's handling lightsabers like she was born with them, matching Kylo Ren in Force powers, and generally out-badassing even a Return of the Jedi era Luke. So far, pretty good. Makes sense, right? There's nothing wrong with having badass characters. They can make movies tremendously fun, but when you have to write them in a different way, give them a weakness that an antagonist can exploit, or a goal that can't be achieved simply by their application of their badass powers. Think Superman with kryptonite, or Batman vs. the Joker in The Dark Knight, when he can't simply get what he wants by beating the Joker up. When the hero accomplishes everything they set out to do effortlessly, there is no dramatic tension. Throughout the two movies, there is never a sense that Rey is in any danger. Fighting TIE fighters, she's suddenly an ace pirate. Imprisoned, she can suddenly do the Jedi mind trick. Facing a trained, if angry and injured Kylo Ren, she kicks his ass. Thank you very much. This article is on point, and I think this is what everybody has been upset about with the character of Rey. This is why I thought it was so important to read you this. I know it's lengthy, but I'm almost done. Just bear with me if you're with me this long. Everything that Luke worked and sweated to obtain and learn, she has just done it instantly. It robs us of one of the greatest joys of watching a well-written character, cheering with them at their achievements. When we see a character struggle and eventually accomplish something, we feel their joy at achievement. That's why expert jugglers and acrobats will add a whole wobble and near failure to their routines. It reminds us what they're doing is hard. Watching Rey's interactions with other characters, her chemistry with Finn, her learning from Luke is funny, warm-hearted, and engaging. Watching her fight, use the Force powers, has all the dramatic tension and excitement of watching an Olympic athlete do jumping jacks. That's a good point. At the end of the day, I think Rey fell prey to the same overarching challenges as the rest of the movie. Not enough time. There's just so many characters, so many demands. Send Luke out with a bang, introduce more toys, licensing opportunities, protect the brand. Really, the most interesting that we could have happened with Rey's character would have been to have her take Kylo Ren up in his offer at the end of the movie. Now, that would have been a suspenseful and powerful setup to the next movie. But of course, the powers that be would never allow that to happen. So he really doesn't have high hopes for Johnson's movie, and I think this sums up about how we all feel about Rey. That here's Luke Skywalker. We see him in Star Wars. He's just a farm boy. He doesn't know he has any kind of powers. He doesn't know he's Darth Vader's son. He doesn't know none of this. I mean, imagine knowing at that point that you're the son of the most villainous, powerful character in the galaxy. I should say not character, but figure in the galaxy. Luke did not know this. And Luke is trained by Jedi Master Obi-Wan. He goes to Yoda, who trains him even more. He learns that Obi-Wan did become more powerful than ever could be imagined. And Luke struggles, right? He's impatient. He's, oh, why am I going to find just Yoda? We can't wait. We got to do it now. And he says he has no patience. To be a Jedi, you need patience. He has none. Ben convinces Yoda. Yoda says, he's too old. He's too old. So Luke is impatient. He sees his friends in danger. He just rushes off without thinking. He's not fully trained. Yet here's Rey with nobody guiding her, with nobody leading her in the way, showing her the ways of the Force, showing her how to become a Jedi. And in The Force Awakens, and this is my problem with The Force Awakens, and I haven't done any videos on this, is that she's captured and she knows the Jedi mind trick. Luke didn't know that. Even witnessing Obi-Wan Kenobi do it in front of him on his land speeder in A New Hope, Rey knows how to do this. How does she know how to do this? She knows how to fly the Falcon. She drives the speeder. None of this is explained. How she just knows everything. She can lift rocks easily. Do you remember what it was like when The Empire Strikes Back? How hard it was for Luke to balance himself, to pick up R2 and just a small few rocks? Now, yes, granted they were a little heavy. They weren't pebbles, but still, it was just a few of them. He couldn't even lift the X-Wing. Yet Rey is so powerful, and she's so perfect, and this is why people call her Mary Sue. She beats. Now think about this. This is also what bothered me in The Force Awakens. She beats somebody who's well trained by not only Luke Skywalker, by Snoke, and she beats him. She knows how to use a lightsaber. She knows how to use the Jedi mind trick. She knows how to fly. She's perfect in every way. Rey has had absolutely no challenge, no training. And I thought we would have got that in The Last Jedi when she says, I feel it in me. And she comes to Luke and he says, all right, I'll give you 3 lessons, And she fully trained. She's sitting there with the lightsaber, Now, some people say she beat Luke. I have a different opinion on that. Now, I know what I saw, and I know what you saw. But I do have a different opinion on that. My opinion is simple. She didn't beat Luke. Luke let her beat her. And when she picked up the lightsaber, Luke did not have a lightsaber. Now, had she been evil and turned to the dark side, she would have struck a defenseless Luke Skywalker down, and she did not do that. She did not do that. So, she had ample opportunities to fall to the dark side. She went to the dark side cave. She could have killed Luke. And she could have joined Kylo. None of what she did. So, everybody calls her Mary Sue because she's perfect with no challenges, and that's what this article states. Despite the fact that the guy likes The Last Jedi, which I do not, that's fine, and that's his opinion. This is what this whole fandom has a problem with the character of Rey. How does she know everything? How does she beat someone who's trained? How does she fly the Falcon? Han had to be trained, and if you saw Solo, and if you didn't, it took him, he was a pilot, and he had to be trained, and he joined the Imperial Academy. Just like Luke Skywalker's friend Biggs Lightyear did. He joined the Imperial Academy. You have to be trained. Luke Skywalker had to be trained. And that's why I want to read you this lengthy article to get it in your head. So if you like The Last Jedi, here's the reason that people call Rey Mary Sue. Here's the reason that people go off on Mary Sue, I was going to say, on Rey. This is why most people don't like the character of Rey. I'm not saying I don't like the character of Rey. I don't like how she knows everything. This has been my problem with The Force Awakens. This is my problem with The Last Jedi. She's too perfect. I like her as a character. That's fine to see a woman holding a lightsaber and you being force powered. That's great. I'm fine for diversity. But I'm not fine, and this is what bothers me. It could have been an alien. I don't care who it was. Who was a Jedi. That's not the problem. The problem is she's too perfect. And that's what everybody has the problem with. So you could let me know how you feel about Rey in the comments down below. Give me a like. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this content. I'm sorry. This is probably one of my longest videos ever. Sorry about that, but I really wanted to go over why there's a problem with Rey. I thought this article was very good, very well written. So give me a like, hit that comment section below, let me know how you feel. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I love you all. Thank you very much for watching. If you watched it this long, till next time, I'll see you, and may the Force be with you always.